Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, of course, we're in full swing winter steelhead season. Up and down the coast, in the valley, anywhere that you would consider a river to have a winter steelhead run. Now, they've been manipulated and ruined and then started up and lost all over the place in Oregon and Washington over the last 30 years. There's no question about it, but this is the time of year. Hardest thing is there's very little water. Pretty much everything out there is super low, super clear, and has been for a couple of weeks now, and it looks like it's going to stay that way going through this upcoming week. We might have some rain coming. I'm not a meteorologist at all, but Peyton Major is, and we're going to talk with her in just a little bit and find out what that weather forecast is going to look like. So, are there fish being caught? Yeah, I've been getting photos all week as I'm staring at the blue sky, calling at everything. Getting photos from my buddies up and down the coast and other areas with fish getting caught. So certainly get out there and make it happen. We've talked about it before in the past. Those low clear water conditions are important. I will say, though, we've talked so much about plugs the last month prior to the season getting into full swing. This is like the perfect plugging condition. If you're going to be from the bank with an old school lure Jensen side planer and a 3.0, not a bad plan. As long as you're not interfering with anybody else, that's not a bad plan. Or folks that are out in rafts right now, drift boats are having a bit of a hard time. I got a brand new drift boat in my driveway, and I don't want to take it out because the water's so darn low. I don't want to beat it up until I get a chance to do some fishing in the thing. You know what I'm saying? But there's certainly some great options that are out there for that. But it's the last week for ducks, and my whole plan this week was to do the one thing that I haven't had a chance to accomplish yet this year, which was a 7 greenhead limit. I am no purist by any means. We've talked about that also for years. But it is nice to actually get that photo. I've been able to get it done lots of limits this year, but certainly not that, and I failed. Every limit this week, I just could not. And I probably, if I just would have been a little bit more patient, but when you're hunting until that, at 2:30, it starts to really push your luck a little bit on movement and this and that. If you know, you know. So I just was unable to do it. But it was limits all week. But there was a couple of hens in there, some pintail. Some of the pintail. My buddy Mr. Fish shot a pintail that I don't know if I've ever seen a pintail as long as that. I should have measured. It was insane. Just an incredible pintail that we took, or that Sean took, as a matter of fact. But yeah, 3 or 4 limits, four limits this week. All mallards, some, again, pintail here and there. You can see the mallard hen hiding over there, and there's one of the pennies. I thought that I got the whole tail in there. But just, this is the time of year where those pintail are just, one, delicious, but number 2, just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, season's over, buddy. But finished up strong. So this whole week worked out well. I was able to pull it off, get my birds, and was luckily able to get in and out. Just because there's, again, no water. It just makes things extremely difficult to be consistent. But overall, if I have the time today, I'm going to tally up all my numbers and figure out where I was for the amount of days and how many birds taken. Every year I do that, and I'm going to try to get that done today because there's, I think, 5 or 6 days that I've got to fill in there. But at the very least, one of the toughest, weirdest, and in a lot of cases worst duck seasons that I've ever seen. But I was able to pull it off. I'm happy how at least I finished up. Anyway, it's over. Now it's time to talk about steelhead. Still a little early for spring Chinook talk, everyone. Let's hold on to that for a little bit, but it won't be long before we're talking about that as well. River levels, though, yes. I mean, just everything is super low, but now, of course, things are going to start coming back around, which is a darn good thing for steelhead. You're going to start seeing, especially because of the Columbia and the Willamette systems now back on the rise. A lot of these tributaries are going to start seeing more movement in them, at least in theory. So cross your fingers that that theory holds out true. But yeah, you can see that the Willamette's gone all the way back down to normal levels, and they are forecasting a small bounce as we get towards the latter part of the week. Again, we'll talk with Peyton to find out how much rain we really have coming. Maybe there's a warm-up coming. It's tough to say, and we still need a ton of snow up in the mountains. Remember, if we're talking about spring Chinook season going into that April, May, we just got to have rain, or excuse me, snow. Well, rain, which gets us snow up the mountains. Sorry. Anyway, there you go. Super low, super clear at 12.3 on my home river, and everything along the coast is the same thing. When you're barely over 4 foot on the Wilson, I mean, you're literally talking about just scraping. I mean, there's just, all of them are that way. But there's been success all up and down the coast. It's been a grind, but the fish are around, and they're a little bit more predictable in those kinds of conditions. Now, this is an interesting one. Haven't talked about National Wild Turkey Foundation here on GPS very much. We've interviewed them years ago, but apparently, we were just sent this, Ryan was sent this just this week. They're trying to start a Vancouver, Washington chapter. They just want to get a barometer of folks that would be interested in being part of a National Wild Turkey Foundation chapter in the Vancouver, Washington area. Now, there's some groups here or chapters here in Oregon. I believe there's some others in Washington and other areas, but the Southwest Washington in particular, there is not. And I can honestly tell you, I've seen the improvements in our turkey populations everywhere in this state, and the National Wild Turkey Foundation is responsible for a lot of, one, education, but two, getting people involved, right? Which is extremely important. But they got a meeting that's coming up. It's something that if you love to chase turkeys, even if you are an elk or deer hunter, they have a lot of influence and they do a lot of great work in the forests, of course, where turkeys roam, but also help deer and elk at the same time. So it's a very interesting organization. If you're over there, go check out what they do and maybe join their chapter. And don't forget, Jason, though, if you want some free scent from Procure, everybody does, send them an email. You have to do it once a week. Each week after you see us, say this on Saturday, he picks a winner every Monday morning. Jason at Procure, pro-cure.com. Let's make sure we get that correctly. Okay, let's check in with Peyton Major and find out what this weather is really going to be like this week. Now, for me, Peyton, and you're going to learn this, weather is extremely important for what we do as outdoors people.
Yeah.
Duck season's over now, so I'm looking forward to just some rain, maybe a little bit of cold out there. But what can we expect? It looks like things are going to be still dry for a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, there's not a cloud in the sky behind me at our Lincoln City camera. 32 degrees. I mean, beautiful coast weekend. But yeah, we are still very much lacking in the rain department. This weekend, 40s for today, 50s for tomorrow. Easterly wind at times, which will kick up the breeziness here or there. Now, we still have high pressure overhead. This is the same blocking high that has kept us dry now for 12 going on 13 days in a row. So this is keeping a lot of those storms and rain chances away from our area. Here's our dry streak. We consider maybe 5 to 10 days of a dry spell normal in January, but when we start to get above that, we are now nearing the longest stretch. That's 17 days in 1948. So if we don't get rain till Thursday, we'll likely tie that. No drought west of the Cascades, so that's good. I think we had a soggy December and early start of the month, so that'll help us out a little bit. But yes, we all are looking toward that rain chance, which is actually on Thursday. So we're all the way dry through about Wednesday. The rain returns later this week because we have a westerly flow. Will it be a soaker? Not looking like it. I'm going to say about ½ an inch for the metro right now. These are early amounts, and maybe a little higher along the coastline. Snow, yes, there's potential for some mountain snow. And again, we are in a big deficit there. So hopefully this will kind of flip the switch on our forecast. Thursday, Friday, yes, will be rainy, but looking ahead to next week, also going to be pretty active. So let's hope this is the change we needed, Owen.
It's nice to see beautiful weather. Yeah. But we definitely need some rain.
Definitely.
There's no doubt about that. Peyton, thank you very much. As always, we'll see you tomorrow morning. All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, I've got David Hawken. Yes, I do. He's actually here in the studio. I do that because I got to practice. He's really tall. We're going to talk about some of their newest colors and products from Arrow, especially beads. And some of these are amazing. Wait till you see the little UV light on there. We've been testing other ones too. It's pretty interesting on how it looks. And some floats as well. But we'll have a chance to catch up with David Hawken in just a couple minutes. Don't go.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.
Nobody enjoys the outdoors more than I do. And these are what gets me there. Les Schwab offers a free pre-trip safety inspection. How does this help the average customer that comes in.
We call it our safety status check, and every vehicle that comes into our shop is going to get one.
Big thanks to Les Schwab for your continued support and sponsorship of Outdoor GPS, and I look forward to many years of more adventures on your tires.